to the Crazy Agent Dinner Party.
Nobody helps you.
Part group therapy, part inspiration, entirely for real estate agents to dish on this crazy business we're in.
Yeah, actually. my mom would be like, Amanda, I cannot.
Come on in, have a seat at our table. And remember, real estate is crazy, and you don't have to be. Welcome to the Crazy Agent Dinner Party, where we dish on this crazy industry known as real estate. Here are your hostesses with the mostesses, a combined 40 plus years in real estate, Coach Konversion Kourtney, and the real estate mom you never know you needed, Amanda, the marketing mama. On today's menu, we're dishing up lead conversion and knowing your audience.
That's right, Jenny, our beautiful and trusty, sparkly-eyed sidekick. We are actually, I'm so excited, y'all. We are here today.
I'm so excited. I am like, out of my chair.
I get to hang out with you all the time, but like I have seen her in action with my team and other teams. This is the world famous Konversion Kourtney, live in person. And so today we get to really dive into like your agent superpower, which is definitely something to be seen for sure. But guys, we love agents. We are agents. And that's why every week we are meeting with you. We are gathering here essentially for part group therapy, of course, but part inspiration and entirely for you, for real estate agents to hopefully, sell more real estate and, of course, as always, have way more fun. So, yay. I'm just so excited to have you here. Konversion Kourtney. I'm excited. I'm excited. That's part of her training that she does. So take it away. Let's go. You can have the appetizer. You can have the main course. You can have the icing on the cake. It's the Kourtney buffet, the Konversion Kourtney buffet. So yeah, let's dive into lead conversion, and honestly, let's start with obviously like cold calls. Essentially, is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, and that's I love it. I love making cold calls. It's funny because I have an easier time making cold calls than I do calling my sphere, which is like people are like, that's so wild.
I wonder why.
I can talk to my sphere.
I feel like we need to dig into that with maybe some therapy or something. What does that mean? Yeah.
I love to talk to my sphere, and I talk to them forever. So it's like
right, which is like one of those. Why didn't you get things done this week? Oh, because I had like 50, hour and a half long phone calls. You know what it is? I think I've seen you in action, and I don't know if you've ever followed her on Instagram or TikTok, but she does post a lot of her like live phone calls, and you're a killer, man. And like you literally but you power through with heart and with like obvious intention of building a relationship and hearing what they need, and then like meeting that need, exceeding it probably, knowing you. So to me, I think the reason you like it is because it's like a game to you. It's like a
challenge.
A challenge.
So it's really about knowing my audience, right? Mm-hmm. And so like when we say cold leads, cold calling, they are people either way. So there are people who have signed up on our website at one point in time, or just dialing random people do circle prospecting. It's just random people. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is a challenge, right? Because there's very seldom people that by the end of our call are in a bad mood when I talk to them.
Well, and I think probably there's a couple things out the gate. Like obviously if you're pulling from the Deadpool, like if you're just calling that bucket of just leads that have been in there like lost souls wandering around, that is oftentimes just like a practice round. I mean, wouldn't you say? Have you ever pulled somebody from the Deadpool?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And converted them?
Oh, totally.
You're like all day long, all day strong. I think,
and when I say converting them, it's having that first initial great conversation. It's important to have the follow-up, right? So like if I'm pulling them out of the pool, then it's having them trust me from that get-go so that I can do the follow-up. Okay. And so I've been working with my lender who's helping me make phone calls. I've got 6,000 leads in my database, and my lender's making the phone calls, and as I hear him, it's like, oh, do you want me to be taken off the list? And I'm like, whoa. We
don't
never
say that. You call them until they buy or die or tell you to F off. That is the rule, everybody. Like, just so you know, that buy or die.
Yeah. And so my thing is can I follow up with you in 6 months? And absolutely, they're like, yeah, follow up with me in 6 months. And then I have my follow-up plan to where I am following up with them in 6 months. And as I'm making these calls, people are like, I know you, Kourtney, you're going to follow up with me in 6 months.
Well, the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I think the statistic says that 84 or 86% of people that go online that are looking for, to buy or sell a house will ultimately buy or sell a house within 24 months of when they initially logged on.
That's correct.
And so if you just reach out to them, like just by dumb luck alone, you're bound to like at least land a few of them, because most how many agents do you know that like call 3 times max and then crickets
and are done. So
right.
the most important thing is know your audience, have a great conversation with them, and so know my scripts, right? So you could ask me, Kourtney, what is your script, and I will confidently say, hi, my name's Kourtney Swift, licensed realtor.
I was going to say licensed real estate agent, but you say realtor. Okay,
licensed
all right.
realtor. Yeah. You're on our website, and if it was like years ago, you were on our website a year ago looking at homes. When are you planning on moving? And so like it's always open-ended questions. Not are you still looking to buy? Because then that's an easy out for them, right? So it's no, I'm not. Okay, great. You want me to take you off the list? We don't want to do that.
You're like, oh, you're fired.
Right. And so the first thing is to know the scripts, be comfortable and confident with those scripts, and as you said, like to be comfortable and confident, practice. And so calling out of the pool, that's practice, right? And then also having somebody listen to the calls to critique and just to make sure like this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong, and change it.
Well, because again, you don't know how you sound. Like, I mean, unless you're literally taping yourself like a football player or something, which you should do maybe if you don't have a calling buddy, a practicing buddy, a rehearsal buddy. But like, let's look at like Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, still got up every day and like practiced, and he didn't need to. He was literally the best. And so that's my point, is that this is your craft, this is your career, this is what you do to feed your family, pay your bills, pay your mortgage, pay for your own house, build your reputation, build your business. Why wouldn't you want to do everything in your power to really, really, really shine that skill, shine that craft? Because you do find out that for as much fear as you have calling random people, the connections that you can make by actually literally hearing them, listening to them, meeting them wherever they're at in that funnel of a sales thing, it actually is really rewarding when you can make a connection with another human being and accomplish the goal of homeownership or selling their home. It's awesome.
And that's where I come from, really, is I come from a place like I am the best damn realtor out there.
Amen.
And
me too.
I come from a place of service to them, right? And so I know a lot of agents, they are very hesitant about making that first phone call, and they get in their own head, like, what if I catch them at a bad time? What if they're having dinner? What if they're with the kids? And that to me is talking yourself out of it, right?
Yeah. What if monkeys fly out of my butt? Like, you never know. Like, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
What if they ask you to marry them on that very first call? You never know. Like, right?
You never know. And so, like, my thing is like, get out of my own way, right? And this could be a $10,000 to $15,000 phone call, and so that's perfect.
Thank you for pointing that out. That's the one thing I'm like, that is not John. That's $8,000. Like, not that they're more than that, obviously, but that's really what it is. Like, screw your fears. Do you want to do this for practice, or do you want to do this for money?
What blows me away is there's a lot of people in corporate America who will make phone calls for a company all day long. And then there's so many people out there that are hesitant to make a call for real estate.
I know.
And it's for me, it's coming out of service. And then, so like the first thing is the scripts, right? Being comfortable and confident. Me coming out of service. I'm the best damn realtor. I'm confident. And then it's about, the fourth thing is like, start asking questions, really get to know them. So, Jordan Belfort is amazing at sales.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
The Wolf of Wall Street. And
Did
I
he go
may
to
not like
prison?
him as a person. However,
Did
he
he go
is
to prison?
amazing. Yes.
Oh my, well,
And
you
he's
probably learned a
amazing
lot
at
of things
sales.
in there.
So a lot of agents will, it's the streamline, right? So like, stay on the streamline. What is the goal of this phone call? And for me, it's like figuring out where they're at when they want to buy, and then like, what are their reasons, what are their hesitations about buying, and just address them, not to get caught up in their obstacles. So a lot of the feedback right now is the interest rates are too high. My credit score isn't good. So yes,
What's your
hear
credit
them.
score? Number one, let's talk about what your credit score is. Number two, where are you living right now? Because obviously, if you're paying rent, what's that interest rate? Anybody class? Jenny, do you know? Does anybody? It's 100%.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's insanity.
So
you don't want to pay 8%, but you'll pay 100%.
And so for me, it's not to get caught up in their obstacles. Hear them, come off the line, and then bring them back to the line, right? By asking questions and figuring out where they're at and why they were on our website at one point looking at homes.
Exactly. Like, specifically your website, not Zillow, not wherever, but they literally went to your actual website, and that's why you've collected their data, their information. So I like to remind my agents that your job is to show them that they lucked out by landing you. And so you want to be super attentive, meet them where they're at. Again, if it's a lead that you're not meeting right there, if they're not like right fresh in the moment, yeah, you possibly could be bothering them, but the reality is they did reach out. So like if you walked into AutoZone, for instance, and nobody helped you, you wouldn't be bothered if you were in there for, 20 minutes and then some salesperson came up, right? You'd be like, oh, thank God you're here, right? Yes, I actually do have a couple of questions, right? Like think of it that way. Yeah. It's just customer service and being of helpful service and giving answers to things that they want to know about real estate.
Yeah, one of my perfect examples is it wasn't on my website. I'm a team owner, right? So I bought a lot of leads, and this gal was on a foreclosure website, and so I've got different scripts for like the foreclosure, rent to own, and then it's a matter of like, yes, they clicked on that website, and then asking the questions of what their real goal is, what their real motivation is. And so this gal comes on the website, fills out the information, and she was talking with another, because if they're on Zillow, one of those websites, they're on somebody else's website. So she was talking to another agent. That agent, it was a year and a half of following up, and as soon as she would come back to my website, phone call, text, and the other agent picked her up from the airport. She was flying in from California, and I'm in Colorado.
You dirty hooker! Did you take that?
Picked her up from the airport.
Showed
her homes that day.
Oh my God.
And then she calls me that Sunday and she goes, Kourtney, you know what? I am just not happy with my agent. And we ended up finding a home on Sunday and ended up closing on the home.
God.
And so the greatest thing is that's rewarding, right? Like it's the connection that I built with her and me being of service.
If I were the other agent, like how much I would be like voodoo dolling you right now, I wouldn't, because it just is what it is. That just means like something was lacking.
We talked a little bit about this too. Yeah. In Colorado, we have to have the buyer's agency agreement, right?
Well, everybody's going to have it here shortly.
So the agent didn't have the buyer's agency agreement, and honestly, I am so confident in what I do that I know that I'll beat any other agent out there.
Amen.
And it's funny that I say that too, because there's another friend of mine who we've both been in the business a long time. We got our license at the same time. And we were going up against each other at the same listing appointment. And it was like, hey, let the best realtor win.
I love a little healthy competition, because to me, that's what makes it fun. There's nothing worse than losing out to the part-time agent that sold one house in the past 3 years, and it was to their mom or whatever. And you're like, okay, good luck with that. And it could work out for them, I guess. But
like going back to so then it's about the energy that I bring to each conversation, right? And so I have a bad day, right? Everybody has a bad day. And if I'm sitting there and I'm ready to start making phone calls, I will literally say to myself in my mind, or if that doesn't work, I'll stand up and I'll just be like, I am excited. I'm excited to make these freaking phone calls. And just by saying that switches the energy. And then I get excited about making the phone calls. How many people can I talk to today? Not how many phone calls can I make. How many people can I talk to today?
Well, mindset is definitely everything.
Mindset's everything.
And again, it's not about the phone calls. It's about the connection and the relationship. Yeah. To that point, so what about on the days where you're like, I don't feel like talking to anybody? Do you not make the calls, or do you put your big girl panties on and do it?
Well, there are some days when I'm not, right? And so if there is a day that I'm like, I don't want to do it, and I end up doing it, then I sense that they feel that on the other side. And so for me, it's important to have the right mindset.
Yeah, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And then the other thing is the conversations that I have. So if I'm talking to somebody who's in a rush on the other side, I'm going to be in a rush.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, this is Kourtney Swift, licensed realtor. I saw you were on my website looking at homes. When are you looking at moving? And so that they can be like, quick, because I sense that they're in a rush, so I'm going to be in a rush. And if I get...
By the way, if you're in a rush, why are you answering the phone?
Well, they do. And you said, if I caught them on a bad day, they still answered their phone.
I know.
So I'm still talking to them because they still answer their phone. Right. And then, so like, let's say you get somebody on the other line who's a little bit slower and just maybe an elder person or something like, and so I will like tone it down. Hey, this is Kourtney Swift, licensed realtor. You were on our website looking at homes. When are you looking at moving?
Right.
And it's important to match the energy on the other end.
So if they're like, go F yourself, you're like, you too. No, you don't do that. No, you go F yourself. No, absolutely don't do that.
I know that that's a lot of people's fear.
It's
like,
but that's what's so funny. Somebody has told me that before, and then like the next week that I call them on my regular whatever Tuesday prospecting, I'll be like, they'll apologize for being mean to me the week before because it's like I get
they were having a bad day
too, absolutely. Yeah. But I've seen that you were on our website last night, so I thought maybe you were still kind of thinking about 123 Main Street. Let's go check it out together. I think that's really what it's about, is understanding everybody is human and you're here to help them with their real estate needs. That is your actual job, and until you sell a house, you are kind of unemployed. So you got to do something every day to like make it happen for sure. So my biggest question to you, is somebody that does know their audience, is do you have designated days for specific groups? So like for instance, my team loves to try expired listings. Expired listings or Zillow, any kind of online leads that are getting the influx of agents calling them are always a fun challenge because they constantly talk about how many people are calling them, which really upsets them, of course. And to that, I say, yeah, I get it. It totally stinks. Realtors it's a bummer. I got it. But I feel you. I empathize. But do you switch immediately the same day from like an expired prospecting list to like maybe first time home buyer or to seasoned investor? Do you always stick with like the script for the same day, or do you do them all whatever? In one day?
So it's all about consistency, right? So it's a matter of just designating time to the expired listings, designating time to the pond, calling out of the pond.
Because you don't know what their need is if they're in the pond or whatever.
You don't know who you're going to get, right? Like, so it's designating that time. And I've always been asked, like, is there a good time to call people? And it's
that's super huge because, right, like, it is now. Do you say is now a good time to talk or
no?
Yes.
No.
Thank you for saying that.
Because what happens is that's their first out.
Correct.
And it's like, no, now is not a good time. Okay, when can I call you back? And if they initiate it, then when can I call you back? If I'm not initiating that because that's an easy out. Like the reason why I don't ask yes and no questions is because I don't want to give them easy outs, opportunities to get me off the phone, right?
Right.
I want more time with them, is building more rapport with them, is building more connection with them. And that's important. So it's all about consistency. It's all about having a designated time, whatever time of day it is, because what might be a good time for me may not be a good time for the other person on the other end, may not be a right time for somebody else that's like 3 calls later. So designate a time for you, for me, and then just stick with that time and stay consistent and make those phone calls.
Do you do like metrics of like specific times a day? Like what works better at like the morning versus the evening? Do you measure that ever, or do you just kind of like go with the flow?
I make calls on what's best for me,
okay,
right? Because there's I don't believe anybody should gauge when they make phone calls on what somebody else may or may not be, because there's so many different people that's
the number one variable,
right?
In
like
every transaction.
And so if I say morning is a good time to call, 8 to 10, because somebody else might think that it's a good time to call. People are getting their kids ready for school, right? They're frantic.
It would not be a good time to call me. Right? I would literally lose my mind.
And so I base times that I call based on when I can call and when I can commit to it.
Yeah, and that's really important because you really do have to be present in the moment. They're going to smell your commission breath like a mile away if you are literally on there just trying to and it stinks, y'all. Your commission breath stinks. I can smell it from here. It's terrible. It is terrible. So I think maybe for our little weekly virtual to-go box, we should give them some of your coveted Kourtney scripts.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, I've heard them in action, and I think the cool thing about scripts, there's so many that are out there. You've really got to make them work for you, which is why practicing is so important. There's not one script that's going to get you a client. The reason that you do the scripts is so that you have the, verbiage under wraps. And so that way, again, just like systems, you're opening yourself up for the other parts of the conversation.
And the confidence.
Yeah. Right. Like, so have you ever seen the movie Up where the little boy scout is like, my name is Russell. And I'm like, if you're doing that, like, then you're going to get the grumpy up man. Right. And so you don't want to do that.
I believe it's okay to start that way. Right.
Well,
because like people, they have to get comfortable. So just start somewhere.
I mean, I feel like that you're just setting yourself up for massive heartache if you do that. If you want to do that with your dog, not with somebody that you're calling.
You have to, in the mirror, you got to do that. Although I wouldn't use that as an excuse not to make phone calls. And so one of the things I do too is I do say licensed realtor because of a lot of the objections I would get is, hi, my name's Kourtney Swift with LPT, and they'll be like, who are you
like,
with?
what is that, AT&T? I don't like,
like, who are you with?
Yes.
Like, Keller Williams? Like, I've never heard of it. And so it automatically like gets me away from my goal or whoever is making the phone call. And so licensed realtor, people know a licensed realtor. So really like the icing on the cake is, number one, know your audience. Where are they coming in from? Know your audience. If it's an expired listing, if it's somebody who's clicking on your website, bring the right energy to every conversation and match their energy. Once they answer the call, match their energy. Know your scripts. Practice your scripts.
Know your common objections, because there are, for like the same 5 common objections are always the same 5 common objections. And so know them, and I don't know, again, make it a little bit of a game to, object their objection. I object.
And even with the objections, it's like, listen to their concerns because it's a valid concern for them, right? So listen to their concerns and don't get caught up in it.
So what do you say to the expired listing prospect who was like, oh my God, I've had 30 people call me today?
Yeah, and so I would just like, okay, great, I understand your frustration. What do you think the reason is your house didn't sell? And you just roll right into that. And
then, have you ever had anybody that's been like, because my real estate agents are stupid and I'm never ever talking to real estate agents again?
Expired listings, they have a lot of people get upset. So they're on the other end, and it's a numbers game. And so it's a matter of just getting through those calls. So if somebody is like, no agents, all agents suck, I'm going FISBO, like I'm not doing this, right? And it's like, okay, I understand that. I understand your concern. Do you mind if I follow up with you in 6 months? And so I'm following up with them in 6 months. And because if they do end up doing a FISBO, I mean, chances are they're not going to sell it on their own. And I also offer value for them. Okay, great. I see that your pictures here, it doesn't look like they were done by a professional. I have a professional. Can I send you my
This is just a roll of dirty paper towels on the cabinet. Like, it's usually something like that or whatever.
And I love the photo that in the mirror you can actually see the camera. So
it's always a goodie, for sure.
It's about providing value, right? To the expired listings especially. And as long as you continue to follow up, you continue to provide value, then I'm the one that they're going to call.
Okay. So did you want to share one last little nugget of like the sweet spot, like the little thing where you can kind of break through that wall of the cold call for an agent to kind of take with them to maybe give it a shot without feeling like they need to apologize? And I think actually Jenny is going to bring some really good info here with that. But is there something that you can, some script, some one-liner that 9 times out of 10, like, knocks it out of the park?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is get over yourself and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Right. What else are you doing?
Yeah, just do it.
Exactly. So we actually have a fun segment called Just the Chip, because, we're eating dinner here together, right? And so Jenny, our lovely and talented Jenny has worked with me for 5 years. She's had many, many different roles within the real estate industry, and she is very, very great at helping agents to win. And so she's going to share some really fun stuff regarding lead conversion that I think will maybe help you to reset your mind going into your next cold call or lukewarm call. So, Jenny, take it away.
So one of the things that I hear all the time is when someone calls, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm sorry. Everything's an apology. And I think the biggest thing to remember is that they actually need your help. They need your help to either buy a home. They need your help to sell their home. At some point, they will need it. And the reason why they reached out to begin with is because they need your help. So if you come from a place of, hey, I have something that they need and I want to share that with them, you don't have to apologize. And as soon as I know myself, as soon as I hear an apology, I'm like, my eyes start to roll and I'm like, I'm
get
done.
out of here, bye.
I'm
like,
done.
I hate it, right? Yeah, no,
but
thank
if someone is offering me something, especially their help and their expertise, all of a sudden I'm like, hey, well, while I got you on the phone, or whatever, I think about how I would feel if they were calling me. And it works so much once you just change that one little aspect of the no apologies.
You got what they need, man. You got what they need.
Jenny, I love that you say that because the word sorry devalues us. And because I will never say, I'm sorry I'm bothering you when I'm making a phone call because I'm devaluing myself before I even make the phone call.
Right.
And again, they lucked out by landing you as their agent.
So I love that you said that because I didn't know agents were saying, I'm sorry, I'm bothering you.
It happens constantly.
All the time.
And it's even like the same thing. Like, again, I've had a couple agents where I'm like, hey, do you talk to your sphere of influence at school? Do the teachers know that you're in real? Well, they know I'm in real estate. How do they know? Right? Like, I don't want to bother them. Why not? Like, that's what you do. You help people buy and sell houses. So you're not really bothering them. You're letting them know, hey, that's what I do. Literally all day long, all day strong. So if you want to buy or sell a house, I'm your girl, right? That's exactly what your job is. So
conversions is important. It's building the relationships, having the deep conversations, having the follow-up, and it's the business that we're in. And it's valid, right? There's a lot of agents out there that they don't like making calls.
Well, and again, like I said, you have to build a relationship in order to build your business. You very well could potentially text all the way to closing table. I highly doubt it, but it could happen. Like, again, stranger things have happened. People want to feel like they matter, that their goals and their dreams are important, and how wonderful for us as real estate professionals to be able to make those dreams and their goals happen. Like, that's literally the best part about our job is that's what we do.
I've always said, for me, when I'm helping people, it's not about a box. It's about the lives that they create
Absolutely.
in their homes.
Amen. And so that was a great little last bite. I feel full. Do y'all feel full? Well, again, what is our to-go? What are we doing this week for our weekly to-go?
Our virtual to-go box.
Oh, it's for Konversion Kourtney's coveted strips. Yes, absolutely. That is amazing. Well, guys, remember, real estate is crazy.
And you don't have to be.